Hey friends, welcome back to Hot News. It's Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. I had a fantastic one. I just celebrated 10 years with my wife, so that was exciting. We still love each other. 10 years, we're still good. 3 kids later. Yes, I know I look young. Thank you for all the comments. Appreciate them. It's going to help me out when I'm older. Thank you so much. With this week, we obviously have a ton of CES content that's going to be coming out and hitting your subscription feed. It currently hasn't kicked off as of yet, but in a few hours, we're also going to be doing a live stream of AMD's keynote at CES where they're going to be unveiling everything. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Get subscribed. Just wait around. It starts at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to be here streaming that here on UFD Tech. Well, let's go ahead and jump on into the hot news for today, which is a little bit of irony to get us started, which is the fact that Intel has PCI Express 4.0 Optane SSDs ready to be sampled, but as you would guess, they don't have any motherboards that can actually support PCI Express 4.0. Their memory division has gotten past where their CPU and motherboard division is. How the turntables! So this is coming out after somebody from Intel offered to sample some PCI Express 4.0 Optane drives to somebody, but out in the world, for somebody to take this, they would not be able to put that on an Intel motherboard. They would have to exclusively use something from AMD, either EPYC or Threadripper or Ryzen 3000. Those are the only options that you have for PCI Express 4.0, the motherboards that go along with that. Intel simply has nothing, and on their roadmap, they're not going to be coming out with anything with PCI Express 4.0 until Ice Lake drops in the second half of 2020. Currently, we're getting Comet Lake, which is supposed to be announced at CES, but that's still going to be PCI Express 3.0. So Intel is sampling 4.0 drives where people can only use them on AMD platforms. This is a backwards world that we're living in, my friends. Optane was supposed to be exclusively Intel. It was supposed to be like their bread and butter, and it's supposed to be a cohesive thing with their motherboards. And now you just, sometimes you got to use Team Red. Now, it's not to say that Intel might not be seeding samples of PCI Express 4.0 boards to certain people, but it definitely didn't take place in this exchange. Obviously, Intel has been developing it, and they're obviously working on their own interconnect called CXL, which will come out at some point. But for right now, the irony is Intel sampling something that can't be used on their platform, and if anybody wants to test it, they gotta go AMD. I love it. In case you wanted to buy any of the AMD chips that AMD said launched in November, well, the paper launch is finally over. It only took 2 months, but it does appear like all major chips have full stock on major retailers. If you look over on Amazon, the Threadripper 3970X, 3960X, and 3950X are all in stock at their correct prices. Not the $900 that we were seeing in certain regards, but actually at the $750, $1,500, and $2,000 price of the 3950X all the way up to the 3970X. So finally, no longer a paper launch. You can pick them up. The link that we have to Amazon below is an affiliate link in case you are looking to pick it up. Speaking of AMD, we're expecting at CES for them to announce their mobile chips of the Ryzen 7 4000 series, which is going to be 8 cores, 16 threads on mobile. Well, it looks like the ROG Zephyrus G15 has leaked, and this is going to be one of the notebooks that's carrying the Ryzen 7 4800HS. It's either going to have a 1080p IPS 144Hz display or a 240Hz refresh rate, combined with an RTX 2060 or a 1660 Ti. It's going to have a whole bunch of good specs. You can check out the link in the video description for more details on that. But another announcement that we're expecting out of AMD today is regarding the RX 5600 XT graphics cards, which is supposed to be in the mid to upper range, $300-ish. Anyways, XFX leaked theirs apparently on purpose. They weren't content for ASRock to get all of the glory for this. So not only is the new one still under the THICC branding, but it is now called THICC 2 Pro Staging. Yes, XFX coming up with the best brand names for graphics cards ever made. Thank you. And then on top of that, MSI's Mech 5600 XT has leaked as well, in case you want to check those out. And then some of the big things that are going to be coming out at CES this year are monitors. Acer is showing off a 55-inch 4K OLED 120Hz G-Sync monitor, which actually the price on it isn't as bad as I would have thought, but they're also going to be announcing some other variants, the Predator X32 and X38. You got a 32-inch 4K 144Hz G-Sync Ultimate display, and then the other other one is an ultra wide, which is 3840 by 1600 with G-Sync as well. Anyways, the pricing on that 50-inch is only $3,000, which not terrible. Not as bad as I was expecting. Will I buy it? Heck no. But I will not necessarily think that I might not be able to afford it at some time in the future. That's how cheap it is. I might be rich enough one day. Speaking of rich enough one day, Lenovo is expecting for you to have some extra cash just laying around in case you want to buy their latest ultra-thin gaming laptop, because with the Legion Y740S, they're calling it their thinnest and lightest gaming laptop that they've ever made, because they've just decided not to include a GPU with it. You get a brand new Core i9 processor, 32 gigs of RAM, a 1 terabyte PCI Express SSD, but Intel integrated graphics, because you need to pick up their external GPU in order to actually use it as a gaming system. And they're calling it the Lenovo Boost Station. Fantastic. Not sure I appreciate that. Anyways, the i9 laptop without the GPU is going for $1,100, which isn't that bad considering its specs, but typically, if you're spending $1,000, you should be able to get an i9 with a 1660 Ti. The Boost Station is going to be $250. You can get all the way up to an RTX 2080 Super in that thing, which will obviously add to that $250 cost. This is a bad idea. Why do people try to make accessorizing the way to go? LG tried to do this, Motorola tried to do this. I'm talking about phones, obviously, but it just, if you have to buy an accessory to make something work, nobody wants it. And then more monitors, which I should have put next to the Acer ones. Samsung is unveiling some new monitors as well. They have a 49-inch super ultra wide, a 32-inch, and a 27-inch. The super ultra wide, which comes in a very sexy white, if I may say so myself, is going to be, quote, the most immersive gaming experience, because it comes in a resolution of 5120 by 1440, which is amazing, but then also has a 240 hertz refresh rate, 1 millisecond response time, and a 1000R curve with quantum dot technology and an HDR 1000 VA panel. That is just a whole lot of amazing specs. No prices as of right now, but I freaking want that one. The super ultra wide at 1440. Premium. But speaking of more Samsung stuff, they gave out their invite to their new next Galaxy Unpacked event, which is going to be taking place on February 11th. A lot of people are expecting that is just going to be the S11 or the S20, depending on who you listen to, and potentially their new clamshell foldable phone, which is going to be the Motorola Razr replacement. There have been some people who have tweaked the Galaxy Unpacked image that's going around to showcase that it could indeed, those two blocked out sections that are for the A's are both the rear camera on the S11 and then the actual clamshell foldable phone. So we'll find out in just about a month. But you know what Epic Games found out? Battle Royales are super profitable. They already knew this, but they made $1.8 billion in 2019. That is insane. Obviously, we can only say congrats to Epic Games. I'm sure they had no idea that Fortnite was going to be this popular. Let them just like freaking bathe in the money. That's what I say. As long as they work on the burnout and making sure that their developers are happy, because obviously sustaining this is a long venture that they're going to have to commit to. If they can treat their people well and they can get that $1.8 billion, I mean, just do it. But you know what you shouldn't do? You shouldn't use TikTok, at least according to the US military. Apparently, this is not in an article that I have here in the sources, but according to the US military, you just can't use TikTok. It's banned in a lot of branches of the military as of right now, and not for terrible reason, because it just came out that TikTok, whose parent company is ByteDance, has built a technology that allows you to take your face and put it in another video, also known as creating a deep fake. Now, this technology has been around for a while, but typically has needed to have high-end horsepower in your computer in order to actually run it. But to get this on a mobile setup where you're actually able to take your face and put it on somebody else's body or somebody else's head and then make the video is unprecedented in the mobile realm as far as making it quick, but it's supposed to be coming out to TikTok. But you could obviously see there's a ton of security concerns with this, with people just scanning their face, their actual like 3D image of their face, kind of like face unlock, and then companies just taking that and having that data. It's a huge privacy concern. It'll make a lot of people susceptible for things that they never signed up for, especially with terms of services that are coming with these new social media apps. You don't know if you're necessarily signing up for them to be able to take your face and put it on an advertisement for something that you didn't necessarily sign up for, but except it's not you, it's just your face and somebody else's body. They get actors, then they use your face, they combine them, and then, wow, the actor doesn't have to take the flack for the video that they made, and you are now just free marketing. But on top of that, Snapchat is apparently also rolling out their own deepfake for videos. It's more of an animated type sorts, where it's taking your face and putting it in a virtual reality rather than on a real person like it is with TikTok's ByteDance. This is a little less concerning, but still just as weird to give people your face. This is different than the filters, which is having your phone put something on you. Rather, now it's taking your face. It has to lift that data and put it somewhere else. What do you think of this? Are you okay with companies having your face data on the cloud, in their servers, being able to use it? Hopefully they aren't. One of the big things with like Face ID on Apple is that it's on a local chip. It's local processing that happens. It's not going out to any server. Apple doesn't have your face. That's the good part about it. Security concerns abound, my friends. But you know what doesn't abound in Tesla? Fear. Because their car shipments are up 50% from 2018. They're reporting in 2019 they have sold 367,500 cars, which is in the ballpark of the estimate they said was to deliver 360 to 400,000 cars in 2019. That is more than they've sold in the past 2 years combined and up 50% from 2018. They sold 112,000 of those in the fourth quarter alone. And if you listen to Elon Musk, 2020 is set up to be a bigger year because he's expecting the Model Y, which is supposed to launch in the early parts of this year, to outsell the Model 3, the Model S, and the Model X. So we'll see if that actually happens, but Tesla gaining ground rapidly. You know what's not gaining ground rapidly? Cloud gaming. People hate Stadia. Nobody's enjoyed it. Well, Square Enix thinks it's the way of the future, and they're investing heavily in it. They think that the issue is not necessarily the technology, but rather there's not a good enough experience to define what cloud gaming should be like and to do things that are only available on cloud gaming. So they said that they will strive to create gaming experiences only possible in the cloud, meaning developing cloud native or cloud centric games. I have no idea what that means. That's like saying that we got to create blockchain games. Like, cool. What does this do that nothing else can do? I don't understand. Yes, you have some new technology, but is it really better than what we have with normal gaming setups? I don't know. We'll find out if Square Enix ever comes out with what is known as a cloud gaming experience. Let me know what you think a cloud gaming experience is down below in the comments. And then let's chat about the new Lord of the Rings game from Daedalic, the Gollum game that's coming out. They talked about how necessarily Gollum won't look like he would in the movies. He's not going to look like Andy Serkis because he actually doesn't have any stature definition in the books. So they can do with what they want. They can make him 75 feet tall. That's what Gollum looks like. Obviously, they're not going to do that for very clear reasons. But in case you want to hear the answers to the interview that they had about the game, you can read the link in the video description. Then let's talk a little bit more about CES. Apparently CES gave Keep Labs an Innovation Award Honoree Award for CES 2020, which is great. If you've never heard of Keep Labs, they developed a storage container that's also an alarm clock and Bluetooth speaker for your weed. Cannabis. It's supposed to just keep everything fresh. It's kind of a cool technology. It's smart. It does all of the cool things. CES even gave them an award, and in their description talked about how it's meant for cannabis. It's a cannabis product. There you go. It's used for cannabis. Well, they said that if they were going to accept the award during the ceremony, they're not allowed to say the word cannabis at all. Even though that's the exact point of the entire thing that they developed. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's Las Vegas. Come on. And then the last little bit of weird CES news. Charmin has invented a Pooptime robot that will bring you toilet paper for when you run out. This is amazing. Everybody needs to have one of these in their household. It needs to be preloaded with toilet paper so that when you're out of the TP, you can be on your phone because you're on your phone anyways while you're pooping. That's why phones are the most disgusting thing that everybody has. Don't give me your phone. I don't want to touch it. I know you play games while you're pooping and then you wipe your butt and then you don't wash your phone. You're wash your hand, but then splash damage, it's a terrible thing. Anyways, the Pooptime robot will deliver the toilet paper to you. But then on top of that, they're also being super weird by having a VR experience in what they're calling their AR VIP PEE, where you can put on the Oculus Rift and then watch the show floor while you're urinating, just so you don't miss anything. You know what? They should have sent one to me here because I'm not going to be at CES this year, and since I'm back in the United States, we're not going to have zebras for CES coverage. That's what we did every year. We'd go up on the mountain that had zebras, and then we would film our CES coverage there. It's not happening this year. I'm a little sad. But I'm also not sad to end this episode of Hot News, because every good thing has to come to an end. So that's going to be the end of this episode. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content. Don't forget that we're going to be covering AMD's CES keynote in just a few hours, so stay tuned for that. Bye.